to say has been delivered by over a century at each commencement over which my grandmother, my mother, or I have presided. Our Father, as we come to the parting, we humbly give Thee thanks for the days of our gathering. We thank Thee for the real work accomplished, for the friendships made, for inspiration for future work, and we beseech Thee to set Thy seal on what we have done and make it strong and beautiful. We thank Thee for the quickening of old friendships, for new and fruitful contacts, and for the broad understanding of our common work. We pray Thee for fresh devotion to the great aims and possibilities of our lives, for unfeigned love for our fellow workers, and for a deep longing to save and ennoble those whose lives we touch. Make us worthy to bear Thy message. And now, as we turn our faces forward toward the toil and care, the trials and temptations of our work, we feel our need of Thee, Thou great companion of our souls. Be Thou the strength of our weakness, wisdom of our foolishness, the triumph of our failures, the changeless unity in our changing days. Knowing the brevity of our years, help us to work resolutely while it is day. Shine upon us, Thou Sun of our life, even in the valley of the shadow, and may the song of faith never die in our hearts. We make our petition to the Almighty and merciful God, Creator and Sustainer of the physical and moral universe, whose love and justice know no bounds and extend to all nations and races. Amen. Please remain standing for the Swiss and American national anthems.
Chiry,
Chiry, representative of the local municipality of Comune. Mrs. Chiry has a long history in the political and administrative scene of our beautiful town, having been member of the town council for the past 20 years. From 2016, she has been appointed as head of the Health and Social Department, as well as Relations Coordinator with TASIS. This could not have been a better choice, as Mrs. Chiry knows TASIS well and understands all the issues that might come along in the management of such an international group of students. Her children, now grown up, have attended various summer programs, and her daughter Federica keeps returning to TASIS as a teacher in our Chateau des Enfants program. E adesso è con piacere che vi presento la signora Carmen Chiry, rappresentante del municipio del Colina d'Oro. La signora Chiry ha una lunga esperienza politica e amministrativa, avendo fatto parte del Consiglio Comunale per 20 anni. Dal 2016 è entrata a far parte del municipio, con la qualifica di capo dipartimento Socialità e Sanità, oltre ad essere la coordinatrice della relazione con la TASIS. Non poteva esserci migliore scelta per questa posizione, in quanto Carmen Chiry conosce bene la nostra scuola e comprende perfettamente tutte le problematiche che potrebbero risultare nella gestione di una comunità di studenti tanto internazionale. I suoi figli, adesso adulti, hanno frequentato diversi corsi estivi e la figlia Federica torna ogni estate alla TASIS come insegnante nella Chateau des Enfants. Accogliamo Carmen Chiry con un applauso per la maestra.
Del Comune di Comune, è un piacere per me potervi congratulare con i molti giovani che quest'oggi ottengono il loro diploma liceale, dopo un impegnativo periodo di studi che necessitava motivazioni e determinazione. Per tutti voi si tratta di un importante traguardo raggiunto che costituisce un punto di arrivo, ma soprattutto un punto di partenza fondamentale per il vostro futuro. Ora si aprono per voi le porte del college. Complimenti per aver completato brillantemente questa parte di percorso di studi. Colgo inoltre l'occasione per congratularvi con la direzione, tutti i docenti e in particolar modo la signora Lynn per il continuo impegno profuso affinché questa scuola continui ad esistere e ad affermarsi, permettendo al contempo di far conoscere a tutto il mondo il Comune di Collina d'Oro e la nostra bellissima regione. A tutti voi auguro un'indimenticabile giornata di festa.
We are pleased to have Mr. Bracken Darrell as our commencement speaker this year. 3 of his children attended TASIS for a total of 11 years, with 2 of them graduating from TASIS. Mr. Darrell has been the Chief Executive Officer, President, and Executive Director of Logitech International SA since 2012, and in this role he has brought about what has been called one of the smartphone era's most remarkable company turnaround stories. Logitech stock has quadrupled in value since he took over 5 years ago. Mr. Darrell told a CNBC television interviewer recently that he was one of 4 siblings raised by a single mother in Western Kentucky. This upbringing, he says, in which there was food but no money, helped him understand what it means to make do with less, to stay focused and resist a sense of entitlement. Bracken Darrell attended Hendrix College in Arkansas, studying liberal arts and graduating with a degree in English, then took an MBA at Harvard Business School. He subsequently held executive positions at Procter & Gamble, General Electric, and Whirlpool, whose European division he ran from 2009 to 2012. Mr. Darrell's successful turnaround of the Logitech company has attracted wide notice. The company is now worth $5.5 billion. We are pleased to have him with us today. Welcome, Bracken.
Aeschliman, or Michael Aeschliman, members of the faculty, some faces I do recognize, and parents, and of course students. Now I'm going to get down to business. Before I start saying anything, I want to congratulate the graduates today. We'll give them one more round of applause. And this is really directed at you graduates. And you know, if you're like most graduating classes, you will not remember my face, my name, or anything I say. But I'll do my best to be a little more memorable. For instance, you walk off the campus today for the last time as high school students. Many would say that the world is facing three major turning points. The first turning point is ideological or political. There are those who believe that the world will fragment into many, even more separated countries. Over the next decade, this argument goes that we're going to have more Brexits, more walls separating countries, and more obstacles to free trade and global immigration. The global migration that has slowly spread through human history. I believe, personally, that's a worst-case scenario, and I don't believe that's going to happen. Even if we do witness a slowdown in free trade and migration of people, it'll be just temporary. I believe you graduate into a world that's increasingly open. Borders will blur. Global trade will expand. National, religious, and most other differences, including sexual orientation, will be increasingly embraced. You are entering an ever-opening world. The long, slow transition from a tribal world to a global human world is inevitable. This is like a long, slow stairway. Any pause we make at any point in time is just a brief hesitation as we climb the stairs, traveling from many tribes to one open world. While I'll voice my optimistic view, I don't worry too much about the ideological issues we are all talking about so much these days. This might be a problem in the short term, but I believe in the end it will be okay. The second big turning point many talk about today is technological. In a prime example of the chicken or egg question or scenario, technology has evolved just as humanity has. One of the big differences between humans and every other animal is the evolution of our tools. Those tools have evolved as we have evolved. The tools of the individual came first: a knife, a spear, a fork. Next came the tools of the tribe: collective homes, farms. Then the tools of countries: highways, trains, and sophisticated weaponry. And finally, the tools of the world: the internet, satellites, an international space station, Facebook, Google, Amazon, airplanes. I could go on. This creation and adoption of tools has always happened in lockstep, side by side, with the evolution of how we see the human family we're part of. First, it was just our family, then it was our tribes, then it was our country, and now it's our world. It's your world. We're still evolving toward this last one, our world. At every juncture of this introduction of technology with the opening of the world, the two have worked positively. But always, almost always, with a brief step to the sideway or backward. Call these steps an adjustment. There's always been some uncomfortable displacement of the old way in favor of the new. Some of the parents in this audience, I can assure you, will remember when microwave ovens were considered to be dangerous or scary. Atomic energy was first used in my own country to kill thousands of people before it became the earliest steps toward one of the cleanest forms of energy. It never happens overnight, but over time we do adjust. Technology has changed our business, our knowledge of ourselves, and our understanding of where we are in space and time. In fact, it's really remarkable to think that in just one lifetime, from the point when we never even left our own atmosphere, we've landed people on the moon, we have men and women in space routinely, and we've sent an unmanned spacecraft just recently to Saturn, and we're right now mapping its topography. Just in the last 2 years, we've created telescopes that have enabled us to see 1.5 billion years into the past. That's about 10% of the age of the universe we inhabit. All from this green and blue planet that is so insignificant in the vast space that it's a tiny, tiny, Just within the last 24 months, we've seen two black holes combine, bringing us closer than we've ever been to understanding the two most powerful forces in the universe. In these black holes, which we're now beginning to observe deeply, lies the answer to how we can reconcile the biggest question in science. How does the power of large things, gravity, relate to the power of small things, atoms? It's remarkable to think that we don't know the answer today to that strangely simple question. But I'm quite sure that in your lifetime, we'll figure this out. Maybe one of you will contribute to that. And probably, by the time you're my age, I believe we probably will have seen to the end of the known universe and what's just beyond it. That's a remarkable thought. Now just imagine what life will be like in one lifetime from now, in one more generation, your generation. As we accelerate our advances, and make no mistake, they are accelerating, in transportation alone. We'll certainly have autonomous cars. That will happen in the next 2 years, 3 years. We'll have flying cars. Their testing is underway right now. People will be flying to tourism in space. There are at least 3 companies planning that within the next 3 years. And we'll have manned missions to Mars, without a doubt. That's the most modest view of the next decade. And if that happens in transportation, can you dream of what it will be like in other areas of our lives? Your lives will be amazing. And the rate of change that shocks us at times today, shocks me, will seem terribly slow 2 decades from now. I believe you're in the middle of the next big industrial revolution, and you're going to be right in the middle and a big part of it. The third major turning point in history is your graduation from high school. Now, this is the point, if you pause for a second and think, that this may sound like a speech meant to just say nice things to you on your graduation day. After all, you might think, just as the Earth is a tiny green and blue ball in a vast universe of trillions of objects, TASIS is a tiny little school among millions of schools around the world holding ceremonies this month with people like me standing in front talking. And you're one person in 6 billion. And if the sheer numbers weren't enough to make you feel less significant, we all intuitively know that you don't know what you're really going to do in your future. The vast majority of you don't know what your career will really be and even what career you choose. Those of you who are certain of your career choice, and I know you know who you are, will find that the nature of the work that you think you're going to be doing is changing so fast that whatever you think it is today, I can assure you that in 10 years it will be quite different. So in such a context of incredible change and an unknown future, how can I say so confidently that your personal next step is so important to the world? The future of our work lives, the nature of our entertainment, of our joy, and even the fate of mankind depends on you. Not your generation, but each of you. I'm not exaggerating or trying to scare you, I just believe it's true. We're in fact, for 3 reasons I think it's true. The first one is this, and you know it, but I'm going to say it pretty clearly. We're in a hyper-connected world where the ideas of one person bounce invisibly off so many. You know it and you feel it. It would have been impossible for the parents in this audience to imagine that 5% of the world's population could see a single video in just a month. Today, the top videos have over 2 billion views. That's 1/3 of the world's population. And that's only limited by the fact that half the world doesn't even have the internet yet, and they will. One person with one idea and one creative video, one of you, can reach the entire world before too long. That person could be any of you. And one of your ideas can change the world. The second reason I believe that you're so important, and this is a turning point for all of us, is that you're in the first generation that will live side by side with self-driving cars and other robots. Machine learning, or artificial intelligence will accelerate and make more efficient everything we do today. And negotiating that minefield of right and wrong, of innovation and destruction of ideals and even life is going to be your responsibility one day soon. Those who lived in the past won't be here to help you. The ball will be in your court. And that ball in so many ways will be that same small green and blue ball that we inhabit our planet. And each of you must engage in your way in the debates that will happen to keep it healthy and safe. The final reason that each of you is so critical to the fate of the world is because one person has always made a difference. For the whole world, or even just one one person at a time. At one graduation long ago, there was a somewhat ill-kept, uncombed lover of music in the audience at one of these kinds of occasions. His only real job he could find when he got out of school was a bureaucratic office job working in a government agency. And Albert Einstein redefined almost everything we know about gravity and physics, and he stood up on the shoulders of other giants, Newton and Copernicus. I have no doubt that in graduation ceremonies around the world this month, there are countless of you as uncertain of your future as Einstein surely was on his graduation day, who can redefine our view of the world, of space, how it all fits together, and of so many other fields in science and art, and the arts. You will, as Einstein did, stand on the shoulders of yesterday's giants to become a giant in your own right. But you don't need to be a future Einstein to make a difference. Statistically, many of you in the audience today will save someone's life in the next decade. You will come upon someone who's been in a car accident, or talk to some temporarily lost soul out of suicide. You will rescue a child who tumbled in a pool. And you don't have to redefine science or save lives to make a difference. You can create a new idea, dedicate yourself to entertaining people, educate us in a world that's going to require continuous education. It's just going to be critical. On the topic of education, since we're an educational institution, and a great one, whatever you study in school next, I can assure you it will not be 1/100 as important as learning how to learn again and again and again. That's because your generation will see the jobs that you take indeed be automated through machine learning piece by piece. And at the same time, you and all of your generation will need to create more new jobs through human innovation and continue to create and discover new forms of learning, education, innovation, and fun. So this is your chance. Today is your first day. It's just the beginning. Now let me give you 3 pieces of very practical advice. And these are really important, and they're brilliant, and you should write them down. And they're really simple. The first of these, and you know it, but I'm going to say it because adults should say it today. Set goals. Set some goals. Do it routinely all your life. Always do it. Goals make you do more than you might otherwise. And goals are free. Nobody charged you for them, so you might as well have some. The second is, start failing. Stop thinking about failure and replace that word with learning. Every time you do something and it doesn't work, it's an opportunity to learn. Unfortunately, things often work, so you learn less. And a lot of people call that success. Thank God failure is so common. Don't play it safe in your life. Take a risk. Take lots of risks. View failure as more valuable than successes. Successes, in fact, are dangerous. They're dangerous because in a way they make you think you need to do it the same way again. Or you need to consolidate your gains because you're successful. Or you need to make sure that you don't make a fool of yourself because you've been right the first time. Many who succeed stop innovating. Failing is wonderful. You learn about the mistake. You stay humble. You have to go try again. The third piece of advice I give you is don't worry about having a passion. That's right. Forget all the exaggerated encouragement to go find your passion. If you have a passion, you've already found it, and you can ignore everything I'm saying. So follow it. If you don't have a passion, which most of you probably don't, get a rough path to something you think you might want to do. And then at every step of the way, this is the important part. Learn to love what you do. There's something to love about every single job. I love my job running Logitech, but I also have learned to love doing the laundry. I also love cleaning the floors. Why? Because there's some little satisfaction, some little innovation, some perfection I can bring to each job that makes me satisfied, makes it a little bit better. And if you love what you do, and I do mean you'll have to make yourself love what you do, you will be better. And that will open doors to things that you will also need to learn to love. And eventually, love by love, you will discover new passions. And I have a hunch you'll eventually have many passions if you don't already. So to close, I am very, very optimistic about the future. Ours and yours. First, from an ideological standpoint, I'm not worried about the ideologies that discourage globalization today. While these might take a temporary lead, we should all listen to both sides, have open and honest debates. But as those debates mature, I feel completely confident the inevitable opening of the world will continue for you, decade after decade after decade throughout your lives. Second, from a technological perspective, I don't believe those who fear the bad outcomes of technology will overwhelm us. Technology has always scared us because it's scary to change. Embrace it. I do sometimes feel there are those who see the development of technology almost as an end in itself. Technology is here to extend human capability. It's always been. It's a tool. And not ever as an end in itself. But I'm convinced that you will especially, make the next generation of technology create a better Earth, better lives, a deeper understanding of our space, our place in space and time, and more peaceful. We'll need safeguards, there's no doubt, on our privacy, on our safety, and on our other liberties. But we will develop them and continue to evolve them, just as we have all of our tools. And remember that each of you can and will make a difference in the lives of many, or the lives of just those around you. Finally, from a personal standpoint, go out into that big universe in this little green and blue ball with excitement. Don't worry about passion. You'll find it eventually. Just set some goals. Embrace learning. Even though a little success is probably good for your confidence, know that failure beats success every time. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. My grandfather was the president of college, not unlike the ones many of you are going to go to this fall. He was a real inspiration to me because he was a practical optimist in every sense of the word. And that's my key message is I hope you leave this campus after the time you spend here, and you're a practical optimist. Every night I was with him, he would stand up at around bedtime. He'd look at his watch like this, and he'd say, "Bracken Buster, it's later than it's ever been." I'm extremely optimistic about our future and about yours, class of 2017. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darrell, for that inspiring speech. It brought back memories of my first year as a headmaster back in the early 1980s. I had a delegation of faculty come to me to talk about computers and the use of computers in the school. And a number of members of the faculty said, "Why should we have this discussion? Computers are just a passing fad." So I think things have changed since even the early 80s. So computers are still with us, I guess, right? Well, it's now my great pleasure to introduce the chair of our Fine Arts Department to present the first award, Mr. Martin Dukes.
Good morning. The following four awards recognise excellence in the fine arts of TASIS. I'll begin with art. Art is a language through which every artist hopes to find a voice. And for over 60 years, art, and indeed the arts at TASIS, have been the means by which countless students have been able to give expression to this idea. I've taught this year's recipient for many years and had the privilege of watching him grow as a young artist. Calm, unassuming and sincere, this person and his artwork quietly resist the character stereotype of the young student, the young art student, the artist who's impetuous, provocative. What you do find is an accomplished young artist whose work and artwork is characterized by a curiosity for the world around him. He engages with it honestly, yet quietly, and ideas are developed with an unwavering perseverance and great care. These traits that will undoubtedly both mark him out and bring success in the competitive world of art design he's decided to enter. So, Please join with me as we congratulate Dominicus Kronkis. Music. The Bertha Award for Excellence in Music 2017. This year's recipient is a student with many and varied musical skills, arriving at the school having studied 3 different and demanding instruments. He's continued to develop his ability to play all 3 to a high level and in a range of different musical genres. He's played both as an ensemble member and as a soloist, yet remains reticent about his abilities, especially in performance. This is somewhat hard to believe given his terrific performance in the recent final concert for the Spring Arts Festival. In fact, this student has blossomed into a truly gifted performer, having worked extremely hard this past semester developing technique through lessons squeezed into an already charged academic and sporting schedule. He became a member of the music literary class. There it became quickly evident that he has a gift for creating and arranging music, most particularly for film and contemporary media. This and a unique combination of instrumental talents has led him to being offered a scholarship to the Loyola New Orleans School of Music. His teacher adds that not only is he a gifted musician, but also a generous-spirited, fun-loving and collaborative classmate. For his outstanding and individual talent and dedication, it's our pleasure to give the 2017 Bertha Award for Excellence in Music to Tennessee Chapter. Photography. The 2017 Post-Durchschnitt Photography Graduation. The TASIS Art Department awarded photography honors longtime photography instructor and department chair, Post-Durchschnitt, whose vision, leadership and creative energy helped to shape so much of what the arts mean at TASIS today. The recipient of this year's award is a highly motivated, exceptionally talented, creative and intelligent young woman. No matter the subject, she brings the same type of passion and intent to each photographic challenge, from detailed colour and pattern constructs to studio portraits and landscapes. The quality of her photographs is outstanding and demonstrates advanced knowledge of the principles of photography. Her images exhibit technical skill in both black and white and colour, and reveal a willingness to experiment and to push her limits. She also has high expectations for herself and spends many hours perfecting her images until they're just as she wants them to be. This year's winner of the Post-Durchschnitt Photography Award is Zainab Kadesh. Theatre. The Lynn Excellence in Theatre Award is presented annually to a student who consistently demonstrates a love for and dedication to the art of theatre. This particular student knows that individual success is possible only through collaboration, because their theatre exists to tell a communal story and to move an audience to feel, to think, and to hope. This student has shown a readiness to take the physical, emotional, and linguistic challenges that excellent theatre demands. A delight to work with, this thespian always plunges dynamically into new material and consistently displays great humour. Credits include 3 years of drama and theatre classes and involvement of some kind or other with every main stage production at TASIS. Tragedy and comedy, backstage crew and designer, Shakespeare's lovesick scholar, and Goldoni's supercilious lawyer. Typically, and following the conclusion of a grueling IB theatre course, he was heard to say, "Arts Festival? IB?" In recognising his continuing development in the craft, his very real commitment to the theatre, and his love of the stage, this year's Kate Hamlin Excellence in Theatre Award goes to John Tabor Gay.
This year's recipient of the EAL Award, that is the English as an Additional Language Award, has distinguished herself for her firm commitment to achieving the goals of IB English B. Described by her teacher as being a real scholar throughout the 2 years of the course, she has been among the most consistently organized and well-prepared students in class, producing work done with great care, evidencing not only a firm grasp of the expectations of the assignment, but also a keen desire to implement new vocabulary and syntactical structures in her speech and writing. For her exceptional diligence, intellectual curiosity, abundant enthusiasm, and seriousness of purpose, the English as an Additional Language Department bestows its award for excellence in English as an Additional Language to Maria Victoria Galina Bonienti.
The Award for Excellence in Modern Languages recognizes the achievement of a student who has undertaken studies in at least 2 of the 5 languages offered at TASIS. This year, the Modern Languages Department honors a student who has been part of the Spanish, French, and Italian language programs. The recipient's teachers describe her as a dedicated student interested in learning not only the languages, but also their associated cultures. She joined Spanish 3 2 years ago with a very low level of Spanish. In a few months, however, she became one of the best students in the class and went on to finish the year with a top grade. After taking only a year of Spanish, due to a heavy IB course load that already included 6 courses, she decided to sit for the IB Spanish B standard level exam. Mr. Alvarez, her teacher, confesses that he was a bit concerned because the students usually take this exam after 4 years of studying the language. Nonetheless, those who know her were not surprised when she put in the work needed to achieve the maximum score of 7 on the exam. According to this consultant, her IB French B high-level teacher, our recipient is a very curious person with amazing intellectual abilities, and her class participation was always rich and creative. In addition, she surpassed even her teacher's expectations with her written and oral skills. Her teacher now views her as a fluent French student who is able to effectively read and analyze French literature. The
Modern Language Department is very pleased to present its award to Laura Beckery.
The Cynthia Wisnett Award for Excellence in English Literature. In his poem on writing poetry, Ars Poetica, Archibald MacLeish writes, "A poem should be equal to, not true, for all the history of grief, an empty doorway and a maple leaf. For love, the leaning grasses and two lights above the sea, a poem should not mean, but be." This year's award winner lacks the pretension, that is to say the intention, of an award winner, but she is one in every way imaginable. In describing her performance in class overall, our English teacher last year was dumbstruck, simply writing a comment, "Wow, squared." And for all the fawning, her humility and willingness to engage others in a common intellectual pursuit remain two of her greatest assets as a learner. She does not speak to be heard. She does not grandstand, although she could. She listens carefully. She questions honestly. She understands, as Bob Hickok writes, that spaces between words are more articulate than words. On the page, her thinking is deep and clear, analytically or creatively. One completely forgets that she only started learning English in the 5th grade. For her remarkable accomplishments as a student of the English language, for her humility and grace, and for her exceptional contributions to the intellectual life of the school, this year's Cynthia Wisnett Award for English Literature goes to Aida Lojadici.
This year's Excellence in History Award recognizes a student who, from the very beginning of his high school career, exhibited a remarkable interest and confidence in the study of history and the social sciences. Over the last 4 years, he excelled in all 8 of the department courses he took. And this year, he was the recipient of both the European History Award and the Economics Award. His IB history teacher writes, quote, "He is indisputably the finest student I've had, with an unblemished record of absolute consistency at the highest level. He chose to write his historical investigation on an aspect of German, economic, and political history in the interwar period, whose causes and significance are fiercely disputed among historians. I was gratified, but not surprised, to receive an outstanding piece of written work which would have done credit to an advanced undergraduate at university specializing in this topic." Unquote. Based on his outstanding achievements in all department courses during his TASIS career, it is with great enthusiasm that the History Department presents the Excellence in History Award for 2017 to Niccolo McConnell. Excellence in American History is awarded each year to a student who demonstrates exceptional achievement in the study of the history of the United States. This year's recipient stood out among an unusually able and motivated group of advanced placement U.S. history students. Because of his thorough and meticulous reading and note-taking, his mastery of the subject matter was second to none. This was recognized by his classmates, who came to look on him as a classroom authority. In the many essays he wrote throughout the year, the student distinguished himself in his ability to produce powerful, evidence-based arguments that demonstrated a deep understanding of change and continuity in American history over time. Acknowledging his superior content knowledge, his incredible ability to synthesize information, and his razor-sharp contributions to class discussions, the History Department is proud to present this year's Ambassador's Cup to Carol Kruppinen.
The 2017 Shah Akbar Khan Award for Excellence in Mathematics. The competition amongst the strongest students in mathematics is intense. Some of them take 3 or more math courses in their last 2 years at TASIS. This year's award winner excelled in all 3 advanced placement math courses, AP Calculus AB, AP Calculus BC, and AP Statistics. His statistics teacher writes of his mastery of hypothesis testing and also is taking time out to mentor other students in the class. In BC Calculus, he designed a streamlined version of Newton's method to approximate the zeros of a polynomial with differentials, and then proceeded to teach the class his new and improved method. The Department of Mathematics is pleased to give this year's Shah Akbar Khan Award for Excellence in Mathematics to Novak.
Time is relative, as Einstein said. It doesn't seem a year ago that I was last here. However, in this packed year, the science students have been very active. As is almost tradition now, the science department couldn't choose a candidate. We had to choose 2. As there were so many deserving students, both students have completed a demanding science program incorporating IB high-level chemistry and IB high-level biology. Quite an academic feat to accomplish well. They both have illustrated incredible hard work and dedication, constantly asking questions in order to clarify concepts and deepen their understanding of the material. Both have undertaken challenging internal assessment research questions in chemistry and biology, requiring many, many hours after school and at the weekends, performing practical work and analysing their data. They stretch the boundaries of their understanding with enormous drive and determination. They would go the extra mile. Together, they investigated many interesting areas, including the cystic fibrosis gene, caffeine levels in various teas, lipase activity in milk, tooth decay, and the effect of exercise on sleep quality. They both will follow on with science at university, one with medicine and the other with biomedical science or biochemistry and molecular medicine. I'm sure that they know who they are now. It is my pleasure to announce and congratulate this year's winners for the the 2017 Science Award, Hannah Gage and Sarah Billick.
The salutatorian is the graduating senior considered to have the second highest academic performance after no less than 2 years at TASIS. This year's salutatorian is an intelligent, compassionate, diligent student who is exceedingly mature and possesses a strong, determined sense of purpose. She has earned full-year highest honors during each of her 3 years at TASIS. And most impressively, she's earned these top grades while pursuing the exceedingly rigorous full IB diploma. Her advisor shares, her contributions to the TASIS community have been many and varied over the years, and she is both a generous, giving person and a truly fine scholar. As a proctor, school ensemble string player, sportswoman, graduate from the TASIS Leadership Academy, and senior humanities program member, she has simply got on with life and all that it has to offer with at TASIS without fuss. A quiet and almost timid student when she arrived, she has bloomed in the intervening years and today is an outgoing and vital young woman. Her English teacher writes, "Even as her time at TASIS draws to a close, she remains herself, steady, diligent, and earnest. I really never had any doubt, but she has not succumbed to senioritis in any fashion and seems to be separating herself even further from the competition with her clear-eyed approach to the end of high school. It's really hard to overstate how impressed I am with her, not only as an English student, but also as a person." It's my great pleasure to present the class of 2017 salutatorian, Laura Beckley. The honor of being the valedictorian is based on superior academic performance over not less than 2 years of study at TASIS. The school considers academic achievement, the rigor of the academic program followed, and the number of courses completed. This year's valedictorian is deeply and sincerely committed to academic excellence and has truly distinguished himself over his 12 years of study at TASIS in all academic areas. His first grade reading teacher at TASIS wrote, "He has become an excellent reader this year." In first grade history, the teacher wrote, "He is truly a keen learner and is always interested in gaining a deeper understanding of the material being presented in class. He shows a great enthusiasm for learning about the world around him." Finally, his first grade physical education teacher wrote, "He seemed to enjoy hockey and baseball units more than square dancing, but he did master all of the skills for all other units." Well, this student did go on to become a top student in the elementary school, and he has achieved full-year highest honors throughout all of middle school and all of high school. Moreover, he graduates from TASIS earning top marks in 10 AP courses and 2 IB courses. It's with great pleasure that I present this year's valedictorian award winner, Adam Novak.
Headmaster's Award. The recipient of this year's Headmaster's Award typifies the very best of a TASIS student. She makes the most of the opportunities offered to her, is always optimistic, always offers a winning smile, and is both a gifted athlete and a strong student. She commands both respect and loyalty from her friends, and as a day student, she's often served as an important bridge between day and boarding students. Her competitive spirit is seen in her commitment to varsity sports, especially soccer, where teammates look to her as their leader. This young woman's athletic skills also are translated into the classroom, where her performance has been consistently outstanding. Her teachers remark on her honesty, work ethic, and disciplined approach to her studies. One of this young woman's coaches describes her as honest, kind, and a very hard worker who quietly spreads good throughout her peer group and the school. It's with great pleasure that I present this year's Headmaster's Award to Fiona Tripp. The ECIS Award for International Understanding. This prestigious award is sponsored by the European Council of International Schools, which specifies that the recipient must be a good representative of his or her own country, with a positive attitude toward the life and culture of others, able to converse in at least 2 languages, a contributing force to the life of the school, the ability to bring differing people together into a sense of community, thus furthering the cause of international understanding. The recipient of this year's ECIS Award is a native of Italy, grew up in France, and has trilingual background. A cheerful, courteous, and easygoing member of TASIS, she works hard both in and out of the classroom, in her academics, and in serving the community, in her service learning, and in leadership initiatives. She is both a proctor and an athlete, and in so many ways typifies the very best of TASIS. Her advisor remembers a quiet and almost timid student when she arrived. She has since blossomed and today is a vital young person, I think you've heard that line before, and describes, despite her reserve, an influential one in the life of our school. This student likes being with and working with those around her. She has that rare quality of being able to listen and is always interested in her classmates' stories, ideas, and problems, often encouraging those around her to connect. With the minimum of fuss and by simply paying attention to people, she discreetly goes about building a sense of community. It's my honor to present the 2017 ECIS Award for International Understanding to Laura Decker. Beyond Upsole Service Award. This award recognizes students for whom the school community comes before self. In the past, this award acknowledged students who contributed to the school community and to school life beyond the call of duty. Faculty members are asked to be especially mindful of students who may be giving of themselves in quiet, unobtrusive ways. The advisor of this year's Jan Upsole Service Award recipient remarks, From the first day I met her, I was struck by what a caring person she was. She told me of her dream to become a doctor, and I couldn't think of a better career for her. I'm so pleased that her dream is being realized. All her teachers comment on how hardworking she is, and she always strives to do her best, sometimes putting herself under enormous pressure. But whatever she may be feeling internally, she will still have a smile on her face and will find time to help others. Both as a proctor and as a member of her varsity athletic teams, she can be counted on to succeed. The younger members of the TASIS community look up to her for help and guidance, some of them even calling her mom. For her selfless devotion to her peers and the entire school community, I'm delighted to present this year's Jan Upsal Service Award to Mom Hannah Gage. Leadership Award. This award recognizes the student who has shown initiative, creativity, and outstanding involvement in making our school a better place to study and live. The award generally has been given to a student recognized as a leader in furthering of TASIS's goals and ideals. This year's recipient of the Michael Steiner Leadership Award has been part of the TASIS community for the past 6 years. During his tenure, this student has always been very serious about his responsibilities and very focused on fulfilling all of his obligations. He's not someone who leads by imposing his ideas and opinions, but one who leads by setting an example to follow. Mature beyond his years, he knows when to take charge to bring a task to completion and when to stand back and simply act as a guide. As a sophomore, he was already acting as a leader as a member of the Leadership Academy, and shortly after, during the summer break, he worked with the Red Cross to implement a summer camp for child refugees. He later went on to participate in the Nepal Global Service Program trip, where he helped build a retention wall for Tibetan refugees. The Michael Steiner Leadership Award is by definition given to a student recognized as a leader by both students and the faculty. During an advisor meeting, the recipient of this year's award stated, I think very appropriately, it's only truth and honesty that can lead students and faculty toward the same goal, academic excellence. It's a privilege to present the 2017 Michael Steiner Leadership Award to Gabrielle Capacci. The H. Miller Chris Award. This award is given to the senior student who, in the opinion of the faculty, best represents the ideals and goals of the school. This is the highest recognition accorded by the TASIS faculty to a senior, who by his or her actions best embodies or pursues the ideals, aspirations, and goals of the school. In some ways, the award combines the stipulations of the Service and Leadership Awards with an expectation of academic excellence. When praising the recipient of this year's H. Miller Chris Award, the highest recognition accorded to a graduating student, one is conscious of being at a disadvantage from the start. such is the quality of her character that those who do not know her may conceivably think a description of her merits an exaggeration. Those who do, an underestimation. But the fact is that you will find no more perfect embodiment of the ideals of the school. Service, compassion, kindness, academic excellence, love of learning, and love of life. Truly remarkable is that her commitment to these ideals, the tireless effort in the classroom, the leadership in service learning, the heavy extracurricular involvement, the informal mentoring in the dorm, often does not really seem a commitment at all, but rather an unconscious movement or inclination. In her, opposites coexist and take action according to the needs of the moment. Tenacity and tenderness, initiative and deference, reason and imagination. The irony is that despite her capacity for empathy, perhaps her leading characteristic, she is probably unaware, blinded by her humility, of just how much we appreciate and admire her. It's a great honor to present the H. Miller Chris Award to Aida Logan. To ask Adam Novak, the valedictorian of the class of 2017, to present his remarks. Adam?
Hi there. Thank you, Mr. Rigg. Good day to all the students, the families, and the teachers. I came to TASIS 12 years ago looking for answers. But I now realize that I'm leaving with many questions. In search of these so-called answers, this senior year, I decided to take an art history class. Frankly, art and I never got along well together. Well, firstly, because I'm colorblind. And secondly, because I've always been skeptical about the concept of modern art. Nevertheless, I wanted to see what the world of art had to offer, and if it really lived up to the name. It is difficult to explain what I discovered this year while taking art history, which is why I'll use Dostoevsky as an aid. Dostoevsky put it best when he wrote that beauty will save the world. Many artists base their works off of styles of other artists to create something new and unseen. It is through this innovation that art is made and artists force a vision of a new kind. For example, Malevich was influenced by Picasso. The Mannerists used Raphael. And I was inspired by a certain Mino Kronwitter. I remember that in our middle school art class, I would often seek inspiration from the drawings of Mino, my friend. Now, I don't know the degree to which Mino made use of my artistic disasters, but I'm confident that at the time we formed a mutual connection in the art class, which is important because teamwork, nowadays, is something you can't get enough of. The point is that Mina and I used our differences not as just another reason to argue, but as an instrument for self-improvement. A Ukrainian and a German working together, making art. This is what Dostoevsky meant when he wrote that beauty will save the world. When studying modern art, my teacher, Mr. Aeschliman, would frequently urge us to suspend our disbelief. Mr. Aeschliman stressed the importance of opening up your mind to the ideas and points of view of the artists. To understand the work of modern art, we must first take the time to understand the artist. Doing so is actually not that simple and requires a great deal of intelligence as well as emotional intelligence. It was at the beginning of this year then that I understood that the world is not only built on mathematical principles but on emotional contact too. The greatest part about spending 12 years at TASIS, perhaps, is the fact that I developed a great deal of empathy, understanding, and emotions, thanks to the constant presence of many different nationalities and cultures. The goal of a school is to prepare its students in such a way that they not only know the world, but they feel it emotionally too. And I think that this is the defining characteristic of TASIS. My trip to Zambia, for example, with a service learning program, brought me to the Southern Hemisphere, where I learned the value of connecting to other people and the importance of understanding them. During our trip, we built a house and we worked with orphan children, all in a foreign country. But I couldn't have felt more at home because I toiled by the side of my Zambian brothers, Patrick and Gabi. I never accomplished anything notably extraordinary while attending school, but I believe TASIS gave us the proper foundation to start making great deeds. We learn about different cultures and we begin to understand them, which is why we become more open, more humane, more empathetic. The world is a work of art, so let us take the time to understand its artists and help them in their pursuit of beauty. Having said this, I would like to thank my family for the support and the love, and the school for having me these past 12 years. A special shout out to each family. It's been real. And to the class of 2017, great deeds await you. So get out there, swallow that darn toad, and save the world. Thank you.
Mrs. Aeschliman, Mr. Rigg, I have the honor to present to you on behalf of the faculty of the American School in Switzerland, the class of 2017. They have fulfilled the requirements of the prescribed academic program, and I request that you award them their diplomas. Isabella Adders. Bayman Ottman. Apollonia. Daria Abdonina. Maria Abdonina. Christina Barbieri. Myra Erin Benakai. Annalisa Billy. Maria Soy Bresci. Lisa Carbellato. Yuki Chan. Celine Cialdini. Maria Vittoria Conti. Elena Dimmerbilek. Yelena Drogomireska. Gula Fioreski Bipul Conti. Marla Fritz. Hannah Gage. Maria Vittoria Galina Bonetti. Juliana Garcia Salomone. Sarah Illich. Edwin Yosun Kirkazolu. Alexandra Kitsi. Yulia Kolotalina. Darrell Kosal. Olga Kononenko. Maria Kosovar. Yevgenia Kravchuk. Lika Kuzaeva. Aida Lojikiche. Georgia Mantegazza. Beatrice Antowski. Christelle Masadri. Alessia Negri. Madison Ann O'Connor. Anastasia Odensova. Fiona Perdomo. Alessandra Gonzalo Minzi. Gabriela Prado Cohen. Zeynep Abdul Qureshi. Maria Paula Ramos Romero. Delana Rochiza. Zare Turakanova. Margarita Vanini. Anastasia Varva. Laura Vecoli. Maria Eduarda Vieira Paludo. Rebecca Caroline Wilson. Melissa Jen Yasmin. Razia Zenato. Marianne Montiel Di Martini. Ismail Ahmadjan. Adam Asher. Angelo Onetzi. Adrian Valentine Bulls. Gabriele Capacci. Mauricio Castillo El Rosco. Antonio Yeet Ayubolu. John Gage. Christian Rawson. Hanrui Han. Chapman, Tennessee, Philadelphia. Devin Holden. Ray Usni Bay. Ilian Radostanov Ilya. Alexander Kaiser. Maximilian Kaiser. Dominicus Samuel Emil Kronberger. Alexander Lebedev. Sergei Lebedev. Humberto Lima. Lorenzo Massardo. Nicolo McConnell. Nikolai Morozov. Daniel Emikin. Adam Novak. Nicolo Maria Alaora. Andrea Parmigiani. Kazi, Zakariya, Rahman. Andrea Patrick Redmond Costa. Hugo Carl Dennis Rourke. Matthias Schrader Gloria. Christopher Alexander Stanford. João Yukoa Calvacanti. Yifan Shia. Haosong Zheng. Yichen Zhao. George Milkovich. Kanan Megan Long. Ladies and gentlemen, TASIS families, I present to you the graduating class of 2017.